Alright, we are live. What I want those who listen to this, because this will be very important, and I want you to know it. If it resonates with you, your life will never be the same. It will change, but trust me when I say it will be for the better. It's a leap of faith kind of thing, so to speak. When you have the opportunity, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, and you're going to notice something that not everybody has. If you look yourself in the eyes, if you see the sparkle, be proud of that. Not everybody has it. Everything in life is a choice. If you notice how everything is so chaotic right now, it's because, think of it this way. Let's say you went out drinking, you're dehydrated. So the duality will say, well, I have to pee, but yet I'm thirsty. So they're both opposites, but both can happen at the same time. Now, if you sit there and say, well, should I drink water first or should I go to the bathroom first? What happens is you're not doing either, which means you become stagnant because you don't make a choice. The key is to trust whatever choice you make, because you can always make another. People are so afraid to make a choice because they fear it's the wrong one. Instead of realizing, because like I always say, you need realize to realize that whatever you do will affect everything around you for that moment. So that could be both good or bad depending on the motive and the heart of those that are attracted to your energy. When you use fear to make you not make a choice, you've technically made a choice. Think of yourself on the Titanic and the boat is sinking. You can choose to get onto a life raft. You can choose to find another way. You could choose to go in the water and swim. You could choose to go down with the sinking ship. It's whatever you want. But just imagine if you are on the Titanic and it's sinking and you are afraid to do anything. What do you think will happen to you? Whether you wanted it or not, you will go down. The idea is realize that you have the power to change anything in your life. It takes that leap of faith. Always know there are hands waiting to grab you. They cannot grab you. And YouTube is trying to censor this right now. It's not going to happen because people are listening. But I want you to understand, there are people, the reason you feel so much pain and love at the same time is the duality. And here's what you need to understand. Think of the whole swallowing, the whale swallowing the person. I don't remember the name, it's irrelevant. But think about being in the belly of a beast. Now, there's a lot of acid, but that can also feel warm to you. Now just imagine somebody that's diving into that acid to try and save you. How much pain you have to go through. Think about if you ever saw the Guardians of the Galaxy when they were trying to get the Power Stone. It was in that orb, but it was shielded by some kind of protection. Now, the first way in the first movie in Guardians of the Galaxy, he used the device that pulled it out. But ultimately that failed, because if you watch Endgame and in the whole series, at one point Gamora has to stick, not Gamora, the other character, the blue one, I forget the name, but she has to reach her hand through that barrier to get the orb. Now that was causing her pain. It destroyed part of her arm. But number one is it couldn't completely stop her, and number two, because of the effort, she made it happen. So if you're experiencing pain in your life, it's because you're one of the people that is willing to dive down to save somebody else who may not even want to be rescued, or may even not know they have to be rescued, because it's all choice. But if you are feeling love and pain at the same time, it's because your love supersedes the pain and is more powerful than anything else. But diving down to save others creates a lot of pain for you. But love is always stronger. That's why you do it. And again, because of choice, you can always turn around. So many people will never hear this message. Very few will even take it seriously, and that's okay. That's the beautiful thing about choice. People can make their judgments, because here's the thing. Your truth will always be your truth no matter what you choose. Which means you could believe in one thing and then pick the exact opposite, and both sides you will get truth to justify your decision. So all things are possible at all times, even the ones that contradict themselves. It's the duality. So it has nothing to do with being tipsy, but you have the right to make that comment. So think of choice as this. And I hope this never happens to anybody, but it's to make the point across. Just imagine you're a parent, and you love your child, and your baby falls into the water and is drowning. And the only way you can reach them is if they put their hands out to reach yours. Imagine how much pain seeing that baby potentially drowned, knowing you can only reach your hands so far. The leap of faith is reaching your hand out and knowing there'll always be something there to capture you and to protect you. But free will means you have the right to swim if the ship is sinking, or you have the right to go underneath and let it take you down. If you do nothing, the decision is made for you. Think of the Rush song. Now, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So, if you notice the duality in your life, that you can be both happy and sad at the same time, that there's light and dark at the same time, that there's conflict and unity at the same time. It's two different sides of the same coin thinking their side is right when they don't realize they're both right. And they can change it in an instant. How many of you have had something in your life that you 100% believed in, and then somewhere along the line that belief turned upside down and you believe something else? Well, did that mean the other thing wasn't true and this is? Or are they both true? And ironically, Leslie says, "What's up, heavyweight?" Think about that. Heavyweight. What does a heavyweight do? It brings you down, keeps you down. You can't lift yourself higher if you're weighed down. So, quite the ironic message there, but as you can see, it serves the purpose. So thank you, Leslie, for that. Irony can be pretty ironic. So, many people are trying to be selfish right now. Many of the people in the world are thinking, I gotta get what's mine, not realizing that there's enough for everybody forever. Infinity means everybody can have everything. But you ever notice, if there are 4 people in the room, they can choose to be civil with each other, which means they'll only get a quarter of what's there. But they'll all be happy. Or they could fight amongst themselves and all be miserable. That's what's going on in the world right now. You have to make the choice of which you want to do. And if you do nothing, the choice will be made for you. If you're in a room where the walls are closing in, you could choose to leave, you could choose to stay, but if you choose to do nothing, you know the consequence. So there is always a reaction. The idea is to lose the fear and have that leap of faith and knowing that whatever you do, there will always be someone or something there to catch you, because love is that strong. But love is not the true power. Choice is power. And so many people say things like, oh, love is the number one thing. Well, let me ask you this. Can you choose to love somebody? Choose not to love somebody? See the difference? Love only happens if you choose it. So how could love be more powerful than choice if choice is what determines what you love or not love? And that can change in an instant. Things that you loved to death at one point now are insignificant for you. They were both true because everything is true. It's a reflection of you. So if you're feeling the pain, know that you're a diver. You're reaching down to help others who don't even know they're needing to be saved. Think of it like a bug zapper. Bugs see this beautiful white light and they get attracted to it. And it brings them in because it gives them something that obviously stimulates them and makes them feel pleasure in some way, shape, or form. But it ultimately ends in their demise. And by the time they realize it, it's already done. That's why this world is all about recycling everything in continuity. So when you cry, remember that tear that you give out of your eye actually helps support life. It's water. Water is the lifeline. So when you cry, you're actually helping other things that you may not know are there because they're probably too small and insignificant for you. But you're giving them substance. Make you think about the next time when it rains. The idea is you could see the hatred and the fear and everything, and you can see the beauty in it. One person sees crying and sees it as misery. Another person can see that crying as, I'm supplying life through my own sacrifice. So your tear of pain, which hurt you, created life substance for something else. That's the sacrifice. It's okay to be one with it and be proud with it. Many, like in the movie The Matrix, they will fight you. Many people will laugh at this. Many people will ignore it. Most will never hear it. Some even try and stop it. Because if I hit the word OK right now, it says the video card or driver froze and was reset. And if I click OK, it shuts down. But notice, I have control, not them. So even though YouTube tries to silence these things, and they do a pretty good job of stopping 99% of the message ever getting out, what they fail to understand is you cannot stop everything. And the message is getting through. Obviously, there are people here to hear it. Whatever you choose, just make the choice. If you sit there contemplating, you become stagnant, and eventually the answer will come to you, and it probably won't be what you like. So own up for whatever decision, take the leap of faith, and know that it's just for that moment, and anything can change, but at that moment it's necessary, because nothing comes to you that you cannot handle. Your pain is your strength. The more pain you feel, it means the more caring you are. And the ironic part is, to get rid of the pain, you have to get rid of the caring. How many of you are willing to get rid of how much you care for to alleviate your own pain? So you're not selfish, you're selfless. You're caring for others even though it hurts you. That's true love, and that's true choice. You can always stop. That's the thing. If the pain is too much for you, you could stop, but you have to ask yourself, why aren't you? Maybe you just needed to hear how powerful you truly are, and you could make the choice better when you understand the game. So as you see in the picture, person's surrounded. Now if he opens fire, what do you think everybody else is going to do? He would be doing it out of fear, but it would cause his own demise. That's the loop. That's the whole matrix resetting itself. Constant loop. You want to get past it, you have to rise above it and know that there is always something better. Unless you believe otherwise. Again, whatever choices you make will become your truth. Pick the exact opposite. This is what I challenge anybody to do right now. Whatever your belief system is, go search the opposite of it. And I guarantee you, you will see plenty of evidence that will support the opposite of what you believe. If you're not truly afraid, you'll actually look that up and find out for yourself to see if I'm right. All sides are right. That's why there's no real good and evil. It's just whatever something's willing to do to survive. Because remember, you could even be a vegan, a vegetarian, and eat nothing but plants. Well, just because you can't hear a plant scream doesn't mean you're not taking its life force against its will. But you need something to survive, which means in order to survive, somebody needs to sacrifice. And you can only do that by choice. So if you're experiencing pain in this world, it's your choice. Own it. You don't have to keep it if you don't like it. But if you do nothing, there it shall stay. It's the whole irony of the crossroad. If you stand there wondering which road to take, you go nowhere. So take a choice. Because the beautiful thing is, if you pick the wrong road, you can turn around. You can go another way. With infinite choices, there is no wrong way. There is only that moment's. But if you don't make a choice, you're standing at the crossroads, going nowhere. And that's nobody's fault but your own. It's not being strong enough, or no, that's not the right word. Not believing that you have all the power and the strength to do whatever you want. Because most people see that as bad. Depends on the person, depends on the perspective. Remember, there are two types of angels. There are those that have the wings that fly, that are there to save mankind. And there are the fallen angels, the ones who will laugh and watch the world burn. Both are happening, both are true. Pick a side. But remember, for every action there is a reaction. Are you willing to jump in the ocean to save somebody else's life, even though you know you could drown? And if you say, I'm willing to do that, then don't complain if you get wet, if it's cold, if it's dark, if it's scary. You dove in, you didn't have to, but your love was stronger. That's why you did it. So embrace it, own it. And your world will always be better. But just know there are always hands waiting for you to jump out. They can't grab you. Not because they don't want to. If you were watching your baby drown and you couldn't save it, it would eat you alive. And you would do everything in your power, even if that baby tried to resist you and fight you the whole way. Because your love is stronger, you would do everything in your power. But you know in the end, it's always a choice. You can't make somebody else's choice. That's why somebody could see murder as a good or a bad thing. Depends on your motive and your perspective. I mean, if you're having to kill somebody to save somebody else, that's different. If you're just doing it for fun or for profit, that's wrong. You know, it's like if you ever saw the the TV show Scrubs. It's an episode where they're at a funeral and the priest says, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, you can ignore it, you can embrace it, but own it either way. But you can't stop them from their choice. No matter what you do, this is what most people do not seem to understand is you cannot force your will on anyone because free will prevents it. You could be tricked, you could be manipulated, blah, 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 but ultimately you have the ruby slippers and you had the power to go home all along. So you'll start to see irony, you'll start to see duality, you'll start to understand or understand that it's just a choice. Go this way or go that way. Everything that you do creates a new path where new things will happen. That's why it's the whole butterfly effect. But it's the ego. It's the look at me. If you follow your heart, you'll always go in the right place, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time. You know, to get to a destination, sometimes you gotta get through some bad weather. But there's a reason why there's a rainbow after the rain. So, I wanted to share this because when I have my epiphanies, I could keep them to myself, or I could plant seeds. But like any farmer knows, you could plant as many seeds as you want. It's the flower that decides that it wants to grow. But it can't grow unless you plant it. The duality. So, seeds have been planted. Whatever happens is up to the individual. If you want to go down with the sinking ship, I guess that's a choice. Is that the best choice for you? So the world seems like it's crumbling. Those that are not afraid know that, you could choose to be Noah and build the ark when everybody was laughing and mocking you, but now drowned. Or you can understand why you do what you do and just go with it and know you'll always be safe. Remember the whole, he who laughs last laughs best, but you don't need to be that facetious. So some will make a joke of this. Very few will listen. But those are the ones that are the most important. Because sometimes you need to know how important you are. You shouldn't help an elderly person across the street and put your hand out and say, now you owe me. It's nice to hear thank you every now and then, but if you're doing it for that, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So if you help an older person and they spit at you or yell at you or just walk away without thanks, just know that you did it because it was right, not because you did it for a handout or a thank you. I don't expect anything from this, and I'll take every little bit that'll come my way. Some of it I'll repel like a rubber. As they say, what bounces off of me sticks onto you. And some of it will make me feel like it was worth doing. And if one person hears this message and it changes their life for the better, then it had purpose, it had meaning, and I'm proud to have done it. Despite how many will ignore it, mock it, ridicule it, and never hear it. So choose what's most important to you. The millions who will mock you, or the one person that will love you. And if you love somebody more than yourself, you will understand why you're going through the pain that you're going through. But you don't have to. But I can understand why people are doing it. So now maybe you understand a little bit better. You're diving into the belly of the beast and you're trying to save as many people that are willing to put their hand up and reach out. And it pains you to watch people go. But light can never be extinguished. It will just recycle. That's the beauty of forever. If it takes forever, it's there. So I want to thank you all for listening, and to the people of YouTube and others who think they have control over everything. Not everyone. Truth is out there. Love can never be stopped, and choice can always make you choose to do something different. True definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So the whole world is trying to convince people to be scared and to listen to others. And you see the world is crumbling, not uniting. So the irony is the very thing that they're using fear to try and control and save, they're actually destroying. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Even the most quote-unquote enlightened person doesn't seem to understand that yet. Notice the word yet. So, I hope you will listen to this whole video. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you have anything negative to say, you have the right to say it, but I would ask you to not put the negativity out there for others to see. Find a better way, because it's like the 4 people in the room. If they all want to make fun of each other and hurt each other, everybody's miserable. But if we all find a way to love each other, we'll all have it all. So when you are trying to hurt somebody else, it's because there's a pain in you that you're not dealing with. But the ironic part is you will never fix it until you face it. So you'll constantly think that you have to project to others and hurt them because that makes you feel better. But you don't grow. And you'll forever be in that loop. That's the trap. So if you want to make light and joke and hurt other people, even if it brings you pleasure, you'll notice your life does not change very much. And what you did as a teenager, you're now doing as an adult because you're not growing. You're not letting the sunshine in. Which is ironic because the cat that we brought, we named her Sunshine. And when she got injured, we took her in. We let the sunshine in. How ironic. And Buddy, our other cat, who's a male cat, has been trying to get with her all this time. Just newly found hormones. Then you think about it. His name is Buddy. Take away the Y, it's a bud. What is a bud? It's a seed. What does a seed need to grow? Sunlight. What a surprise that the cats Buddy and Sunshine are intertwining with each other. It's the duality, it's the irony. So see things for whatever you want to see them as. A joke, a horror show, a comedy. It's everything. It's what you choose it to be. And once you know you have the choice, you can choose to make it better, which means you have to make the effort. You can't just say, okay, I choose better, and then do nothing. Sit there with hunger pains and say, okay, I choose food. How much of it magically appeared in front of you? Get off your butt and get it. In other words, make the choice and then own it. So if you're here and you're experiencing pain, but now you possibly know that one of the potential reasons you're here is because you're actually sacrificing your own happiness to help somebody else, then own the fact that you are allowing that pain to happen for a greater cause. If you are trying to save a baby from drowning and you're complaining that you're wet, see how silly that sounds? You didn't have to dive in. So own it. You're going to dive in to save a baby that's drowning, you're going to get wet. It's the way it is. Complaining about it does not change it. Because why the hell are you doing it if you're not going to put your passion into it? Are you doing it to save yourself? That's for you to find out. So I hope you all found something interesting in this video. I thank you for listening, and this will be here as long as you need it to be. So regardless of when I make a video, because I have to be inspired to do it, you need inspiration. Otherwise I'm just putting stuff out to put it out there. So my stuff, especially these days, might be very sporadic, but it's because I want it to be quality over quantity. And those who continue to listen It just means they resonate. Many people will not, and that's okay. You're not wrong. Remember, you're always right. That just may not be the right choice. Because remember, just because you make a choice, it may not be the right choice. But if it's right then and right now, it's okay. Choose differently otherwise. Learn from your mistake. Walking into the same wall is kind of crazy, kind of dumb. But many people, that's what they do. They walk into a wall and they sit there and die. They got nowhere. When you realize everything's a choice and you choose to do nothing is still a choice, you might want to decide to take the wheel. So that whole song, Jesus Take the Wheel, that's saying let somebody else drive for you. If you listen to the song Drive by Incubus, that song is telling you hold the wheel and drive. In other words, take responsibility for your life. Don't let others drive you because they may drive you off a cliff. You better hope the person you pick to drive your car knows what they're doing and has the great intention. Nobody has a better intention and understanding about you than you. So take the wheel and drive. You could steer it off a cliff if you want, but that's your choice. But don't get mad on your way down knowing what's happening. Thanks for listening.